So you want to learn how to refinish furniture, but you don't know where to start. Don't worry, I got you. Here's a crash course on how to bring something back to life. First, start by cleaning everything inside and out with a degreasing cleaner. I like to clean before I sand because it helps to start with a fresh slate, and I'm not trying to breathe in anybody's sock dust. Next, I like to fill in any damaged chips or chunks of veneer with epoxy putty. I like to do this before doing any sanding because it reduces your chances of burning through the thin veneer. Once that's dry, I sand everything down with 120 grit. There's a good chance that what you're working on is veneer, which is just a thin sheet of wood over top of a substrate, so just be really careful around the edges because you can sand straight through that thin sheet of wood, and we do not want that. If you have curved surfaces or hard to reach areas with your sander or even with hand sanding, I like to use acetone because it pretty much just melts most finishes. Now let's move on to these laminate tops. Laminate, while it's durable, it's plastic and you cannot refinish it. This part is totally optional, but I like to add new veneer right on top of the laminate. Veneer is just a thin sheet of real wood, so you can sand it and you can stain it. I like to start by scuff sanding the laminate with 120 grit and then wiping it down with acetone or denatured alcohol to get it super clean. Then I apply a peel and stick veneer. Yes, they make that and it is so cool. I love it. It's sticky as hell though, so make sure whenever you apply it, you've got it exactly where you want it. I take a piece of scrap wood that's been rounded out on the edge to smooth it down as I apply it. Make sure the edges stick too because those are important. Then I go in with an xacto knife parallel to the edge and then sand it until it's smooth. The edges that are against the grain can be tricky to do without tear out, so I like to take a block of scrap wood and cut upwards against that for a cleaner cut. Once that's done, I hand sand all of the surfaces with the grain with 220 grit and then clean up all the dust in preparation for stain. I highly recommend using gel stain if you have stain PTSD because stains can be tough to work with. Gel stain is super beginner friendly. It sits on the surface of the wood as opposed to absorbing into the wood, so it's really nice if you mess up. Apply it liberally and then wipe off any excess in the direction of the grain. Once that's fully dried, I apply a layer of de-wax shellac. This will give your stain job a layer of light protection and also show you what your wood will look like sealed so you can blend your repairs to that color. I'm using blend all sticks, toner, and pre-cut lacquer all from Mohawk. I use the blend all sticks to hide the wood filler and get the color as close as possible. Then I use the toner to further blend it and the lacquer to seal it all up. You may have some areas without veneer that don't blend at all even after you've stained. I like to use toner to help them match. This part is totally optional, but I like to use a homemade toner made out of de-wax shellac, alcohol, and some pigment to help everything blend in and be more cohesive. Once that's dry, I go in with my first layer of top coat. Once that's dry, hand sand with 320 grit or higher super lightly with the grain to knock down any texture and then remove the dust in preparation for a final layer of top coat. Finally, I like to condition the insides of the drawers, the sides, and the drawer slides with a furniture balm, and do not skip this part because it is the best part. It makes it smell good and your drawer slides smoother. Here's a look at the before, and this is what it looks like now. I bought these for $60 and they ended up selling before they were even listed for $600. Whether you're refinishing furniture for your own home, looking for a side hustle, or even wanting to do this full time, I really hope this helps, and please feel free to drop any questions in the comments.